Well, hello there, and welcome to another episode of Scouting 5, recapping scouting news from around the world for the week of September 9th, 2024. I'm Scouter Ken, and I am once again recording from St. Albert, Alberta. Some big news to start this episode off, and I apologize again that it's been a while since I've been able to push one of these out, but figured I'd start with a really big piece of news, which is that the World Organization of the Scouting Movement has grown with the addition of another member nation, quoting Scout.org. World Scouting is pleased to welcome Scouts of Albania as its 176th member organization. Scouting in Albania has a rich history that dates back to the 1920s. Albania was a member of the World Organization of the Scout Movement from 1922 until the National Scout Organization dissolved in 1939 due to political events on the eve of World War II. Scouting was subsequently banned, but re-emerged in 1991 after the collapse of communism in the country. Scouting went through a period of transition for several decades. In 2019, the European Scout region began to support the development of scouting in Albania with a strategic and sustainable approach to growth, leading to a unified, coeducational, multi-ethnic, and interreligious movement in the country, and putting the organization on a path towards full membership status. I'll just remark briefly on the fact that the 43rd World Scout Conference took place in Cairo, Egypt over the summer as well. I believe it kicked off on the 17th of August and ran for a number of days. A couple of other interesting points that came out around the same time, maybe even as part of the discussions in the Scout Conference, is the fact that around the world, like globally, 84 people join scouting every hour. And maybe that one is worth quoting Scout.org. Over the past decade, World Scouting has achieved substantial growth, marking a significant chapter in its history. Between 2014 and 2022, membership within World Scouting expanded by an impressive 22.6%, equivalent to roughly 84 individuals joining scouting every hour. This surge underscores the enduring appeal and relevance of scouting around the world, even amid unprecedented challenges such as the COVID-19 pandemic. The movement's unwavering commitment to youth empowerment facilitated a strong resurgence, with membership numbers approaching their historic peak last seen in 2019. End quote. And in particular, female membership has been growing quite strongly. I suppose my own 3 daughters count in that total, don't they? It was also announced at around the same time, just in late August, that Scouts of China will host the 17th World Scout Moot. That's going to take place in 2029. This was one of the outcomes of the World Scout Conference in Egypt. Vote was taken by member organizations, and so the 2029 Moot will take place in China. It was also decided at the toward the end of the World Scout Conference that the UK will play host to the 44th conference, which will take place in 2027. Exactly where that will be is to be announced, but somewhere in the UK. The UK hasn't actually hosted the Scout Conference since 1979. I believe they are eyeing a return to London, but I suppose we should wait for confirmation. And also, it was decided at the same conference that Denmark will host the 27th World Scout Jamboree. This will take place in 2031. Poland, you may recall, is hosting the 26th World Jamboree, 2027, I believe. With luck, I'll be able to attend. Now, moving to slightly more localized news, although only in the sense of being on the North American continent, Scouts BSA is currently exploring the sale of 500 acres of the Sand Hill Camp in Brooksville, Florida. Quoting the Tampa Bay Times, with diminished membership and a need for millions of dollars worth of camp upgrades, the Greater Tampa Bay Area Council of the Boy Scouts of America, Scouts BSA, soon to be Scouting America, is exploring the sale of 500 acres of its 1,300-acre camp in Hernando County that has drawn scouts from across Florida for decades. The council has been in negotiations since June to sell about 50 acres on the northwest side of the Sand Hill Scout Reservation, along State Road 50. Now, on September 19th, the council's 70-member executive board will vote on whether to begin marketing another 450 wooded acres of Sand Hill on the northeast section for commercial and residential development. The board will also vote on the sale of the 50 acres to the electric cooperative if the purchase agreement is ready by then. End quote. That's a bit sad. Never like to hear about scouting properties getting developed into real estate. And sticking with Scouts BSA for a little bit, a Wichita, Kansas scout group is reeling after their trailer was stolen for, get this, the 3rd time. Quoting Yahoo News, a local scout group is asking for help after their trailer was stolen from a church. The trailer belonged to Cub Scout Pack 662 and was stored at the Calvary United Methodist Church near 29th and Rock in Wichita. The organization says someone cut the chains on the trailer and stole it on August 15th. The trailer is white, 5 by 8 feet in dimensions. It has a side door and a single swing door in the back with the red and blue shield. The license plate says under 2M. The Scouts bought it using money from popcorn sales and then used it to carry equipment for camping trips. This is the third time a trailer has been stolen from the group. Previously, it happened in 2019 and 2015. End quote. I cover stolen equipment periodically on Scouting 5. I wonder if I had previously reported on the theft of this group's trailer. Meanwhile, over in Ireland, some news about a Scout group brought back to life. Quoting the Irish Independent, Enniscorthy is well on its way to revive Enniscorthy Scouts, a community group that has not been seen in the town for over 30 years. Sarah Kelly, one of the key organizers of this reboot, was inspired to get involved after missing out on the experience herself as a young child. The process of even getting the group to the stage where they can look for applicants has been a long and arduous one, first coming up with the idea last year and holding their first meeting at the start of this year. The small initial party were spending a large chunk of their time trying to reach the minimum number of 12 trained volunteers before experiencing a setback in the form of many of the volunteers backing out of Scouts. At one point, their committed membership dropped to as low as 6. Luckily, things have changed drastically in the last few months, with 7 skilled volunteers and another 3 set to be trained. They need a certain amount of volunteers to the number of children, but have consulted with other established groups in the area for advice. End quote. Now that one I do like to hear about. Scout groups coming back to life where they haven't been present for a number of years. That's always excellent news. And an interesting idea from the UK, quoting the BBC. A Scout group says it's all about making Scouting affordable after generating a profit of about £1,500 from selling hundreds of cups of coffee at a village festival. Godiva Explorers in Coventry said it wanted to use the money made at the Brinklow Festival in Warwickshire for sports equipment and activities for children. The Scouts have a mobile coffee facility and lured to be baristas. Funding for the equipment came from a grant from retail firm One Stop, with the group saying they wanted to use it to buy something which would continue to generate money. A Godiva Explorers spokesman said that meant that it did not need to continuously approach others for cash to fund activities, but could do it ourselves. But rather that they could do it ourselves. The festival included live music, a dog show, classic cars, and craft stalls, with the overall aim of raising money for charities and groups in Brinklow. And the Godiva Explorers were, of course, there to provide coffee. It's actually not a bad idea. We used to actually sell Scout coffee here in Canada. I think that program has been discontinued, but I guess there's nothing to stop a Scout group, maybe some older youth Scouts or venturers, from establishing a mobile coffee bar. And finally, some news out of the UK. Following Bear Grylls being ousted or departing from his role as the UK's chief scout. Covered that in a previous episode of Scouting 5, made my thoughts clear at the time. But, setting that aside, Dwayne Fields, another adventurer and TV presenter, has been appointed as the UK's new chief scout. Quoting scouts.org.uk. We're excited to announce that Dwayne Fields, adventurer and TV presenter, is the UK's new chief scout. Dwayne has been appointed as our 11th Chief Scout to lead our 500,000 young people and adult volunteers for his values, commitment to help young people, and outstanding leadership qualities. During his time as Chief Scout, Dwayne aims to inspire even more young people and adult volunteers to join from all backgrounds. Born in Jamaica, Dwayne came to the UK when he was 6 years old. Growing up in northeast London, in Stoke Newington, with little access to nature, Scouts offered Dwayne access to the outdoors, new friendships, and opened new horizons. When he joined as a Cub Scout, Scouts gave him skills, belief in himself, and a place to belong. Through his determination and support from his Scout volunteer leaders and friends, he's set himself on a path to become the first Black Briton to reach the North Pole. He's passionate about encouraging people from all backgrounds to explore nature, support their communities, and be the best that they can be. Well, end quote. Congratulations to Mr. Fields on your appointment. That is awesome. And quite the life story behind it as well. And that is all the news I have for you this week. Thank you again for listening. And until next time, be prepared.